and mocking laughter just demonstrates.
This is the third time, by the way.
Right.
Everyone sees through it.
Bro,
Finish,
bro,
please.
the point that I'm trying to make to you, Amir, is clearly you're not able to engage with the Christian position because as an absolute, ladies and gentlemen, we do not concede in any way that the Father is identical to the Son or that the Son is identical to the Holy Spirit.
That was the question.
If, ladies and gentlemen, the use of Leibniz's law means that in Amir's mind these two things have to be equivocated, they have to be crashed together, then clearly for this discussion, Leibniz's law is not sufficient for us to progress. That's the point that I'm trying to make to Amir. I am inviting Amir to make his argument from Christian sources. And also, I want to state clearly, he has not addressed the point of how the Wash Quran and the Duri Quran and the Hafs Quran are the same Quran when they are not identical, ladies and gentlemen. We already know that they're not the same reading. I want to know in what way does he assert that they are one Quran when they are different texts.
I got you. Guys, if you notice, the way that Bob wants to debate, he doesn't want to do it in a way that he engages in the substance. He wants to do it in a way where he goes on a monologue, draws out another argument. That way he thinks, I'm not going to go back and address it. I'm going to keep drowning you until you give your position. Because unfortunately, when it comes to Trinitarians, all Trinitarians hold that there is one God and three hypostases. But there is different ways that every Trinitarian hashes out or gives account of how they come to the conclusion of one God in three hypostases. Now, just so I don't strawman his position, I need to know his position. I need to know if he holds the Leibniz law. I need to know if he holds transitivity. All he's saying is, if it is the case that it does, I reject it. Well, I want to test that out. That way I can give a sufficient critique. Thereby, when I give it, you don't say, oh, well, that's not my position, and you move on. I want to stick it to your own position, so you don't backtrack. And again, I have it on tape. You said you accept transitivity earlier, and if you concede now, it's going to look bad. So pay attention, Bob. This is the question, and I hope everyone sees it because I'm not going to keep repeating myself. It's very simple. When it comes to identity, if identity means whatever predicate is true of A is also true of B, when we say that the Father, when we say the Father is identical to the essence, do you hold that the Father is identical to the essence under that definition, or he's not? Which one is it?
Okay, can I reply?
No, respond to that question.
I'm going to reply. So, ladies and gentlemen, notice he did not address the issue of the Quran. Again, how many times have I asked him about the Quran? In what way is the Hafs and the Wash and the Duri the
wasting my
same?
time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You're always
Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say that any use of any philosophy that forces us to confuse the persons or forces us to divide the essence of God is insufficient to describe the Trinity. I was accepting the Leibniz law on the basis that it would not be used to misdescribe my belief. Amir has persistently tried to use Leibniz's law to misdescribe my belief. Let's be charitable to Amir and say that he has a perfect grasp of Leibniz's law and that he knows it better than I do. Fine. Then I simply say that it is an insufficient lexicon to describe the Trinity because it tries to shoehorn the Trinity into something that the Trinity is not. He wants to know my position. There is one God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who share one essence. We cannot divide the divinity and we cannot confuse the persons. Engage in my position. Stop trying to arm wrestle me into believing something that I don't. I do not believe we can confuse the persons. I do not believe we can divide the divinity. Prosecute your argument on that basis. Prosecute your argument from our sources. And please, for the good of us all, answer the question about the Quran. In what way are Hafs, Wash, and Duri the same?
Okay, here we go. First of all, it looks like I'm going to have to teach Bob English terms. First of all, there's one thing you need to know. A true dichotomy is that when a question is posed, there is only two possible answers to that question. If the answer falls outside the dichotomy, then it's a fallacious answer. So far, you've shown your inability to engage in dialectics because you don't understand basic hermeneutics in relation to how we're supposed to debate. A dichotomy entails that it's either a yes or a no. There is no third option, Bob. You have to learn how to debate, not monologue and preach. Okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, when it comes to the argument about the Quran, I already told you that we don't believe, he said, in what way are Hafs, Warsh, and Duri the same? We don't believe they're the same. We understand that they're going to be distinct, but the distinction, the analogy is going to break because we don't assign personhood and being to the Quran insofar as saying that there's one being of the Quran and three different persons. That's not analogous. It doesn't work, okay? So it doesn't address the argument. So again, the question that I'm going to ask you, and this is the final time I'm going to ask because you're wasting my time, because you know that if you give your position regarding identity, I'm going to crush you, Bob, unfortunately. So you have to give your position on the identity. And this is the last time I'm going to say it, because this guy is tiring me out. If identity means whatever predicate is true of A is true of B, when you say that the Father is identical to the essence, is it true to say that the Father is identical to the essence, or is it false because you don't believe that every predicate is true of the Father is true of the essence? Do you agree with the statement of identity? That's the first question. And do you hold to the position that the Father is identical to the essence? The only answer is yes, no, there is no third option, otherwise it's a fallacy. Let's see what he's going to give. Give us the answer, Bob.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear an answer to the question about the Quran? No. Do Muslims in this pot go around saying there's 7 different Qurans? No. They go around and they say that there's one Quran. Well, I hope every Muslim is listening to Amir, because Amir has just admitted that there's multiple Qurans. Now, he knows and I know that that's not the deen of Islam. He knows and I know that Muslims say there's only one Quran. So he has not answered the question, in what way is Hafs, Warsh and Duri the Quran? The same Quran. But what he has admitted, insofar as he's replied at all, is that he believes in multiple Qurans. Thank you, Amir. That's something we Christians have been telling Muslims for years in this part. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, I have said to Amir that if his holding on to Leibniz's law means that he cannot engage with these two positions, that we cannot divide the divinity and we cannot confuse the persons of the Trinity, then that means Leibniz's law is not sufficient to engage in the argument, because every time he appeals to Leibniz's law, he tries to confuse the persons, something we reject. Now, I'm being charitable to Amir, and I'm saying that he understands Leibniz's law. I am saying that Leibniz's law doesn't give him the lexicon, the language, to engage with the Christian position. And I'm inviting him to engage with my position from what I said or from my sources, and he's declining to do both,
Time.
ladies and gentlemen.
Did you answer my question?
Yes.
What was the answer? Did he give a yes or no? Or he didn't? Because the question was a true dichotomy. A true dichotomy entails it's either yes or no, and there is no third option. If he posits a third option, it's a fallacy. The guy doesn't know how to debate, unfortunately. And I have to teach you. So now, track. When it comes to your belief, every Trinitarian holds to one being and 3 hypostases. Now, Bob, you understand that different Christians use different philosophical methods to come to that conclusion, yes or no?
Yes.
I need to know yours. I need to know what you believe. Do you believe that the Father is identical to the essence, yes or no?
Right. So do you want me to reply? Pause
No,
time.
if it's a dichotomy, answer. If it's not, don't answer.
Right, well, you carry on.
Okay, so he's not going to answer. So guys,
No,
from
answer in
this
my turn.
from this discussion, we've demonstrated that Bob is incapable of hashing out his position, because if he says that the Father is identical to the essence, then on the transitivity, the Father just collapses into the Son. And if he says that the Father is not identical to the essence, is going to entail that mono-humanity would follow, aka that although we don't have identical essences, because we have different properties, but we share the same essence, then that would entail that there's one human being under the same counting method. He knows this, and he knows he can't argue against it, because he knows I'm philosophically inclined in relation to that concept. And that's fine, Bob. But if you're going to waste my time, and you're going to waste everyone's time, then we're not getting anywhere. So the question again, back to you, and this is the final discussion I'm going to have with you, because you're clearly not engaging, okay? When it comes to saying that the Father is identical to the essence, do you hold to that statement? And if you do, when you say identity here, does identity shout that whatever's true of B is also true of A, yes or no? This is the final time I'm going to speak about it, because it clearly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear an answer to the question about the Quran? No. Amir is big on ad hominems. I don't know how to debate.
What's an ad hominem?
I don't know how to engage. Ladies and gentlemen, he has ignored the question about the Quran, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a question pertinent to his own argument. If there is one Quran, in what way are the Hafs, the Duri, and the Wash the same? When the Hafs, the Duri, and the Wash are different texts, different manuscripts with different words. The closest we got to an answer was, well, they come from the same source, Muhammad. Well, the Son and the Holy Spirit come from the same source, the Father. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Amir is not good at listening, because I have said to him that Leibniz's law is clearly tripping him up. Because he is saying that through Leibniz's law, the Son collapses into the Father. That's something that Christians categorically reject. That means his description of the entailment of our belief is false. And so his argument is false, ladies and gentlemen. Let him engage with this statement, however he wishes. The Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit cannot be confused. They cannot be collapsed into one another. If you want to genuinely polemicize the Christian belief, you must do so from an accurate reading of what we believe. I have stated very clearly that as Christians, we don't believe the Father and the Son can be collapsed into one another. Therefore, any philosophy that does contrary is not sufficient to the description.
Time. Bob, is the Father identical to the essence?
The Father's essence, yes.
Is he identical to the essence?
No.
So why did you waste 5 rounds to tell me that?
Because you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Good. So I'm gonna engage now. So now his position is that the Father is not identical to the essence. Thank you for actually telling us your position 5 rounds later.
But is it the Father's essence?
I'm not done.
Is it the Father's essence?
Well, what's the definition of essence? How do you define it?
It's the thing that they are.
What do you mean that's the thing? That's synonymous.
No. Hold on one second. We don't know. We obviously don't know what divinity is. Except
what's the word essence mean?
I'm trying to describe it. You would learn more if you interrupted less, Amir.
Ask
a question, listen to
an answer,
I know you're not asking the question. I'm doing true interruption.
Your rhetoric,
right, Amir, we can go back to timing if you want, because I think that would
tell me what essence means, please.
Right. So, let's firstly be clear. Let's firstly be clear that in terms of human language, when we talk about the divine essence, we are simply saying that thing that God is without being able to describe it in the same way that I could describe your essence as being genetics, carbon.
That's not essence.
No.
That's not essence.
It is. It is the thing that it is the thing that God is. It is
so
the thing that the Father is.
The set of essential properties, right?
No, we know about the essence through the attributes, through God's interaction
so the set of
with
essential
the world,
properties, right?
i.e. His will, i.e. His works, i.e. His activity.
Can you give me a single lexicon that defines essence the same way you do?
When it comes to God, we just say mystery, because it's not like we can stick.
You don't know what words mean anymore?
A Muslim really shouldn't make that argument.
No, please, test me, try me.
All right, how does Allah descend if He's above His throne?
I got you. First of all, that's not a question of definition.
How does Allah descend?
I'm answering you. Calm down.
Go on, answer.
The answer to the question is that that's not a question of definition.
How does Allah
descend? Hey, brother, calm down. Don't panic. It's okay. No, let me answer.
Yeah, and then we'll reply.
When you say how does God descend, this question is not a question about definition. It's a question about modality of a specific volitional act.
So answer the question.
Hey,
how does Allah descend?
brother, calm down. It's okay.
I'm waiting for your answer.
So the question that you're asking me is not even analogous to what I'm asking you because, hey, calm down. Don't interrupt.
How does it descend?
Because I'm not asking you how does God have this essence.
So how does he descend?
He's panicking. He's in panic mode.
No. You're panicking him.
No,
Because
you're in
you
panic
know
mode.
what you have
No,
to say
because
as a
you
Muslim.
know I can respond to you.
No, go on then.
Okay, I'm responding to you.
So tell me how he
Yeah,
descends.
the answer to your question is when you ask me how does God descend, it's not analogous to what I'm asking you. Don't interrupt. Because what I'm not asking. Hey, brother, calm down. I am not asking you how does God have the divine essence. I'm saying that the term essence, independent of who is predicated to, how do you define it? How do you cash it out? That's the question to you. Answer the question. How do you define essence?
Why are you running away from the question?
Why are you running from my question?
Amir,
I asked you first.
I'm trying to answer your question, but you keep interrupting.
You can't catch me. I'm too far ahead of you. Answer the question.
Amir, you're too
Answer
much
the
ego,
question.
bro. Too much ego.
I know, I understand. With you, I have to do that.
Too much ego.
I have
Too
to.
much ego.
Because
Too
you
much
know you're not
ego.
philosophically inclined, and you know I'm going to beat you to it.
Answer the question. How does Allah descend?
The word essence, how do you define it?
Right, fine. I'm going to try again to give my description of essence. How do I define
No,
it?
definition.
I'm going to give my definition.
And give me someone who agrees with you.
But then I want to see if he'll bother to answer this question. He didn't answer the Quran
Nothing to do with the
question.
arguments.
Let's see if he'll answer this question or whether he'll run from it. So I'm saying that the definition of God's essence, the definition of it is that thing that God is. That substance, that reality
Is that the set of
makes
essential properties?
God God. And that we cannot describe it further because it's a mystery. It is beyond human description. But we know
you can't
that
answer
God
this.
has an essence
answer.
and that is what his divinity is made of. So I've given my definition, whether he likes it or not. Now let's see if he will actually answer my question. Simple question. How does Allah descend when he is said to be above his throne?
Has nothing to do with the argument.
Not an answer.
Hey, Bob, calm down. Hey, calm down.
What's the answer?
The discussion was regarding the Trinity and whether his belief.
What is the answer?
Hey, Bob, calm down.
What is the answer?
No, calm down.
You're running, Amir.
Wait. So, if it was bad not to answer questions, right? It doesn't feel good,
You've
right?
been doing that the entire
It doesn't
day.
feel good to answer questions, right?
You've been doing that
So
the
calm down and let me
entire
answer you. Okay.
Well, I would love
I'm
to hear
gonna, I'm
the
gonna
answer.
respond. I'm gonna respond to your
How
discipline.
does Allah descend? Yes,
I'm not gonna let you run away.
Go on, brilliant.
But you think
How
I'm
does Allah
wait,
descend?
do you
Go on,
think
answer.
Bob? Do you think I'm stupid?
Go on.
Do you think I'm stupid? I'm
waiting.
not stupid. I'm gonna respond to your argument,
waiting for your
and I'm not
answer.
gonna engage in any.
How does
Hey,
Allah
brother, calm down.
descend?
I'm not gonna engage in any
No
ad
one's
hominems.
irate, Amir.
Look,
Relax.
who's panicking now? Who's speaking over who now? I'm trying to respond
This
to
is
him.
what you're doing.
He's in full panic mode,
Okay.
but I'm going to refute
We're
him.
going to wait
and I'm
for
going
the
to
answer
refute
to the
his heresy
question.
regarding
How does
polytheism. He's
Allah
panicking.
descend when
You're
Allah
in
is
panic mode.
above his throne?
Shouting doesn't make you right.
Answer the
Wait, is
question.
anyone interrupting you? Is anyone heckling you?
Yes, you are.
Was it my turn to speak?
You're into
Thank you so much. It was my turn to speak, right? Was it
Go
not?
on, I'm listening.
Was it my turn to speak?
I'm listening.
So behave, please, so we can actually discuss because you're wasting everyone's time now.
You are.
Okay? When it comes to essence, he defined it as what a being is. In scholastics, this simply refers to the set of essential properties. So because that is hashed out, I can go ahead and proceed with my critique. So he doesn't believe in identity, that the falls are identical to the essence, aka whatever's true of A must be true of B. So the question still remains, what is the symmetry break in the analogy if somebody was to hold to monohumanity under the fact that there's one sotu, such that sotu is humanity, and three persons satisfy that sotu because they meet the essential properties found under the sotu, aka rationality and animality. If they match that, then under your definition of what a being is, they are just one human being. What is that symmetry break? If you can't give a symmetry break, then it's not going to work. And also, when you say, oh, well, God's essence is different, well, that's not part of the analogy, because the definition of an analogy is to draw an analog between two examples. The analog here is the way that you count in relation to how a set of predicates is found under a single sotu. So you saying that God's essence is different doesn't change anything. So answer the question. What is the symmetry break? What is the symmetry break between the examples? If you can't account for one, he's simply running and doesn't want to engage because he knows he would get absolutely destroyed. And if he gives me a positive question about Allah descending, has nothing to do with the argument. I'm willing to discuss that another time with you. Right now we're talking about whether you believe in three gods. Go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear an answer to the question of how does Allah descend?
Nothing to do with the argument.
No, exactly. And this is the problem with Amir. He thinks that the cameras are not recording. He thinks that the cameras aren't picking up the fact that he demands answers to questions whilst not answering questions, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've tried to move this conversation on, assuming that Amir is a good faith debater, a good faith interlocutor, because I've tried to suggest to him that his use of Leibniz's law is tripping him up. I've invited him to deal with this statement that as Christians we don't believe that the Father and the Son can be collapsed into one another. That's just a categorical, fundamental, hard, foundational belief of the Trinity. If you can't engage with that, then you can't make an argument against the Trinity, ladies and gentlemen. And at no point has he done that. And being charitable towards Amir, I've assumed good faith, and I've assumed that it's Leibniz's law that's tripping him up. And I've invited him to move beyond Leibniz's law. I invited him to show me one scrap of evidence from any Christian production of literature that says we believe in three gods, and he has not done the same. And I have pointed out again and again and again that Muslims in this park say that there is one Quran. If you've heard Muslims say that, put your hand up. Loads of people have heard Muslims say that. But he says the Hafs, the Wash, and the Duri are different. We agree there are different Qurans. So explain to us how they are the same, Amir. Because when you answer that question, we might progress the argument about the Trinity.
Time. No, my position regarding the Quran has nothing to do with what you believe. Now, did he give a symmetry break? Did he give a symmetry break? You didn't give a symmetry break, Bob. What was the question that I asked you before you responded?
You asked for symmetry.
Between what?
Between the two analogies.
Which analogy? What was it? Do you remember?
The analogy, it would be the analogy between the Trinity and the Quran.
Nope. The guy is not listening.
Gee whiz, I didn't remember.
Nope, the guy does not remember the same question that I asked him pertaining to my own session. So what are you doing? You're wasting everyone's time. I asked you, no, hey, stop, because he just got caught out for not listening. No. The guy is preaching. No, the guy is literally preaching. I asked him the question at the end of the discussion. I said, hey, what is the symmetry break between these two accounts? I asked him
what were the accounts?
Hey, stop.
What were the accounts?
No, you fumbled already.
What were the accounts?
You already fumbled.
Well, tell us then.
I'm about to tell you.
So that we can do
hey, brother.
So we can go and
it's my time.
What he says
Hello?
to the camera.
Hello?
Tell us.
It's my time.
I think you can't remember yourself.
You're already cool. I remember. I got you.
Well, go on then.
The symmetry break that he said supposedly was between analogy of Christ and the Trinity and the Quran. Now roll back the tape. The symmetry break that I gave was between the Trinity and mono-humanity. One human. So you fumbled. You're not a good listener, and you've exposed yourself as someone who's not literate, not philosophically inclined, doesn't know how to engage in hermeneutics, and there is no point in debating you because you're not hashing out position and you're not giving a clear account of what to believe. I'm done speaking to you, to be honest.
Okay,
I'm done with you.
Guys, let me respond. Guys, let me respond.
Yeah, respond. GG's.
Let me respond.
Wasting my damn time.
Amir's running away. Amir's running away.
You're a showman. You are a showman.
Amir's running away. Amir's running away.
Showman. Please. Showman. You think I'm stupid? It's stupid to engage in these guys. Bring the cameras. Let me. Yeah. Let's explain what just happened to the cameras because.
Acknowledge English identity.
How are you? Good?
Yeah. No, he doesn't answer questions. Yeah. So guys, just to be clear, what just happened was. Yeah. Yep, all good. So what we just saw is Bob absolutely embarrassing himself because he's unable to track, unable to engage in hermeneutics, unable to engage in dialectics. Because Bob was asked the same question 3 times, and upon me asking the same question towards the last time, which is, what is the symmetry break between modern humanity and there being one God in the Trinity? And when I asked him to recall that question, he didn't know how to recall it. Why didn't know how to call it? Because he's simply preaching, he's going on a monologue, he doesn't want to engage with that position because he knows if he does, he's going to get caught. So upon him doing that, I saw no benefit in speaking to him because clearly he doesn't even remember the question. And he got caught out for it. So we've exposed Bob, we've exposed his disingenuity, how he doesn't know how to debate, doesn't know how to argue, and clearly goes on monologues for 2 minutes without answering the questions that have been asked. Every argument that he posed, I answered. The Quran, in relation to it being interceding for humanity, I already answered that. The Quran being different modes of recitation, I already answered it. Every single argument was addressed. Not one question of mine was answered directly. That's it. That's it. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ما شاء الله brother.
حبيبي.
جزاك الله خير.
حبيبي.
جزاك الله خير. الله يبارك.